All right then. So the next section which we are going to work on is the description section. So basically the description section is going to be a rich text editor where the user can edit that complete description which is generated by the user, and we are going to render it in that by using JSON objects, right? So that uh, need to be rendered properly. So before that, we need a rich text editor. So for that, all I have to do is to install this specific package called React Quill. So we're going to use this React Quill. This is the editor that we are going to use. So please go ahead and install it, and you can read their official documentations to see the examples. So I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to stop the server. pnpm add react quill, install it, which is download clear, and pnpm run dev. So let's refresh this changes, and it is being refreshed. So let me get into the global, and I don't need this. I don't need this title form, utils, routes, alert banners, action buttons, schema, close all the stuffs, and let me collapse everything. Get into the components folder, and I'm going to create a new file called editor.tsx, right? So here I'm going to mark this one as a client component, use client, and I need to import that. Let me scroll down, and I need to import these things, right? So I'm going to bring this, and I'm going to paste it over here. Then along with this, I'm going to import one more thing, which is dynamic from next to dynamic, because we need to load this particular packages dynamically only when it's needed, because this is heavy and we need to load it only when it's necessary, right? So, and I'm going to create an interface for that. Interface editor props, open it, on change. Whenever we are making some changes, it's going to have a callback function which is going to have a parameter called string, and it is going to return nothing. Then I need to supply the value which is as a string, right? So okay, so now we have those props and everything, and right after here I just have to say export const editor, which is going to be an arrow function, which this one is going to take props, which is editor props. So we have to supply the value, and we have to supply the on change. Now I need to load this react quill dynamically, so I'm just going to say const react quill is equals to use memo hook, use that hook, open it. Then it's going to have an arrow function, then it's going to have an empty array injection. This is going to be a rendering component, right? So here I'm just going to use the dynamic is a function. Inside the dynamic function, I'm going to call an arrow function, which is going to import this react quill, this particular package dynamically. And on the server side, SSR, which is basically, I'm not going to render this, so false, because it's a client component, right? Then save it. So right after here, I need to return, right? We need to return it. So I'm just going to say div class name width as full. Inside this, I'm going to bring that react quill. So value, which is basically going to be the value, and on change, which is basically going to be the on change. Theme, of course, and use the snow theme. And then we can fix some minimum height, minimum height, which is going to be 300 pixels. So let's save these changes, and all I have to do is to get back into editor, and I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to change this into preview, right? And instead of editor, instead of that editor. I'm just going to change this into preview. And one more thing here, I just don't need this on change, and I don't need the styles. I just need to make sure this change into a read only. Save it. Perfect. Now we have the preview and we have the editor, and let's get back into the form.ts, and right over here I just need to say export const description form schema. Okay, so this, I'm gonna get the description as an string itself, right? It should not be empty, so the description needs to be, it should be completely. So then we have the description form schema type as well. As save it. Now inside over here, I'm going to get back to the forms, and I'm going to create myself a new, which is going to be the description form.tsx, and I'm going to say mark this as a client component, use client, and here I'm just going to say RAFC description form, right? So let me delete this. So for the description, I'm going to say interface description form. Inside over here, I'm going to bring the topic ID, what particular topic it is. Then I need to bring the initial data, which is going to be any. The description inside this description, instead of string, I'm gonna keep this as any. Then I'm going to mark this. Okay, here I'm going to bring that description form props. Don't worry, even if we are running into any initial issues or anything, we can rectify it later. First, let's try to write it down. So I'm just going to open this and keep it side by side. Let us bring all these objects, copy and paste it. Let us import it. Use state, use router, next navigation, save it. And I'm gonna bring the form, copy this form, and right after here I'm gonna bring the use form react hook, and instead of this schema type, I'm just going to use the description form schema type. And let me import these order resolver and description dot form schema, right? That should be fine. Then I need these things, so I'm going to copy this completely from here, and I'm going to paste it out over here. Instead of this is supposed to be this topic ID. Oops, spelling mistakes. Topic ID, topic ID. Yep. Let us import the Axios and let us import the toast. Yeah, now that issue is being rectified. Let me get back into the here, and I have to bring this two import statements. Let me bring this cards and buttons, copy it, and let's keep this on the top. Keep it on the top. And right over here, I have to bring that. Then I need to bring this edit option as well. As yes, that's the thing. All right, so now all we have to do is to copy this guys from here, copy it, and let us paste it. Close the card properly. This is going to be the description. So let us go here and let us copy this and paste it. Description, where it is, description form. Yep, let us save it. We have the description form right now. So then we're having all those necessary things. If I'm not editing, so we're having that displaying that button, the place where we are This is the one. If you're not editing, so I'm just going to copy this, get back over here right after this div. If I'm not editing, instead of this card title, I'm going to bring this, remove this paragraph tag, bring the previewer from add components preview. For this, I need to supply the value, which is basically I need to convert it into a string. So json.stringify, open it. Then I need to supply the initial data dot description along with this null, then supply this too. So this is basically the space and how many string, the space between them. That's what we are defining it. Then right after here, we are getting an error on change. Oops, my bad. I need to remove this. This is not necessary. Save it. Now we don't have, because for the preview we don't need the on change, right? So now we have that. Okay, so React Quill, we are getting an error. What is that? What is the issue we are getting? We can't see it clearly. Inspect the elements. Console. We are getting an error over there. What might be that error? SSR is false. React Quill is imported properly. Dynamic functions only. Oh, okay. This is spelling mistake. React Quill. So this needs to be used over here. Oh, this. That's the issue. Then I think the same mistake will be happen on the editor as well as. So wait a minute. Remove this. React Quill. Save it. Still we are getting this error. Okay, so we need to figure out why is this mistake is happening. There it is showing over here. Let me check it out. All right, so it took me some time to figure out what is the exact issue which we are getting. So the issue is basically because of this package which we are using right now. Because if you check it out the official GitHub page, this is because the Chrome just dropped some support features for supporting the old Quill version. So the React Quill hasn't been updated yet. So this can be replaced by using React Quill new. So all you have to do is to remove this React Quill package and update it into React Quill new. So that's what we did. We changed it into React Quill new. And then instead of using snow for preview, I just changed it into the bubble, right? Just update this too. And let me open the editor.tsx as well as, and this is needs to be new, right? So this will be perfectly fine. So that's the reason we are not getting any issues over here, which is working perfectly as we expected it, right? And we are getting the null value currently because we don't have anything in that. So that's the reason we are getting the null. And now let's get back inside over here. If we are editing, if is editing, so open it, is editing. If we are editing, then we have to render something which is going to be form, and let me destructure everything inside that form. Then let me open it form here on submit form dot handle submit of on submit function which we have inside this form. Let me get back to the title form role. I think I have to use the same styles, right? So let me copy this and let me paste it here. Then inside over here, let me get this form field, including the this button from here, right? And instead of this name, what we are going to do, we are going to use the description. And instead of this input statement, this is the place which it comes really handy. This is the place where we need to supply that the mm, mm, mm. So inside here, I need to bring that editor, right? So editor, add components editor. So for this editor, I need to supply the value, which is going to be the field dot value, field dot value. Then I need to supply the on change, which is going to be the field dot on change, right? So now let's save these changes. Okay, so that is an issue on the editor because we have to update this into new. Yes. Now, if I inside that, you can see we have this editor mode where the user can edit it completely, right? And let me change this into bubble and let's see how does it looks. Edit. Oops, nothing is there. So let me get into the React quill new. Mm, mm, mm. So you can refer the documentation to adjust the theme sections over here. You can go through the examples and how to create yourself a custom theme. In this case, I'm going to go with this default itself because it is working fine on the light, and I think it is more suitable on the dark mode as well. As so I think this is much better for the time being. Let's leave it over there. And now what I need to do is I need to bring an action button for generating that AI, right? We need to generate the AI content. So in order to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a button right over here to generate the content, right? So this is the place I need to bring that content, right? It is showing that button. So right before that, this button is needs to be displayed only on the editing mode, right? So for that, what I'm going to do is division, class name, flex item center, justify center, and gap, which is going to be 4. Keep that button, and right after here, if is editing, then I need to render it. Over here, I'm going to bring a button, right? So for that button, we are going to have a state, one more state, use state snippet is generating. By default, it is going to be false. So here, this button type, oh sorry, the variant, which is going to be an outline variant, outline. Then the size, which is going to be the icon size. And here, if it is generating, then I just need to display the loader icon. Otherwise, this needs to display this bulb. What's that? Lucid bulb info light. Okay, we can bring this light bulb option. Light bulb. Um, mm, mm, mm. Light bulb. Save it, and that should bring. Yep, there we go. So we have that option for generating it, right? So for that, what we have to do is tooltip. So let me bring this. I need to keep that as a tooltip so the user can understand it. Copy it. Instead of over, bring that here. If is generating, then I just need to say generating, else generate, something like that. So that should, okay, so this is going to have an error. So as child, that should fix that. Now we have that option. Okay, so perfectly fine. We have the tooltip which is working fine. Now when I click this, it is going to generate those contents and everything. So for that, what I need to do is I need to have a function in order to trigger that AI, the Gemini AI. So that is what we are going to do now. So we are going to integrate the Gemini AI right now. All right, then. So now what we have to do is to let's get back to the AI studio. Yep, this is one aistudio.google.com. So that is going to take you to the Gemini. Yes, we are using this one. Chat. Things different. Gemini. I search for AI Studio. Google.ai. Well, the Google Gemini, they updated their interface quite a bit. Okay, so don't worry about it. Just we have to generate the API keys. I think I already do have some API keys. In this case, I'm going to create myself a new API key. And here, I think it's better to use the existing key itself. Okay, so I'm going to use this existing key itself. So I'm going to copy this, right? Then I'm just going to stop my server. Okay, so then I'm going to open my env file, and here I'm going to say Gemini API key. Let's paste that one, save it. Okay, let's use that for the time being. Now I'm going to restart my server. Before that, I need to add this particular package. So now we have the API key, and if you click this code block, click it, and this is the package. It is going to give you the package. Choose this TypeScript and mm, mm, mm. Mm, yes, this is the one. So we have to add this particular one. So previously on the previous versions, they used the generative AI package, and here we are going to use this one pnpm add at google/gen AI. So let us download that one. It is downloading. Perfect. And let me run this. Okay, so this is the one that we have to use. So you can use this code for the examples, and you can play around with the settings options, safety settings, click, and you can add what are the safety settings that you want. Okay, so I need to block everything, so enable the safety settings. Okay, you can customize the safety settings, and you can customize the output length. What is this, or total output length, right? So and now if I click the code block, and you can see what are the safety settings that has been added up over here, right? These are the options. So previously we have to go through the documentations to copy these codes and paste it, but now they given the options easily over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create myself an API, get into the API folder, app API, and here I'm going to create a new folder called AI, and here is for generate, and inside the generate I'm going to bring this route.ts file. Perfect. Now here we have to import next response, then I need to import Google Gen AI from at Google Gen AI. Yes, these are the things. Then I'm going to create myself a function export const post, and this function is going to be an asynchronous function. It's going to take the request, which is going to be the type of next request itself. Then inside over here, right, we need to send the title and as well as the level with your body, right? So we need to access that. So const title, then level, which you can collect it from await request.json itself, right? So here I'm gonna bring that prompt, right? So this is the prompt which I am using to generate the expected output. So let me show you. You can pause it and you can type it by yourself. Generate the topic description for the topic title, this particular title suitable for this particular level. Provide a short summary, 3 to 5 learning objectives, and a required prerequisites, and a simple sample code for the block if applicable. Return output strictly as a JSON object with the keys summary, learning objects, prerequisites, and sample output. This is the prompt that we are using. Then right after here, I need to bring the try and catch block. So let me bring try and the catch block. So inside this catch block, I'm going to return a JSON error message, something like this, failed to generate the descriptions. Then inside over here, I need to use this code. So const AI, which is going to use this particular one. So copy it and paste it, right? So we're going to access this API key from the Gemini API key. At any point, if you're getting this particular error, like undefined or any particular, so you can use the not sign at the end, a type error or anything, right? I'm going to add that for the type safety as well as. Then I need to use the this safety, right? So we need to use that safety as well as. So in order to use that type safety configs and options, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the config options completely, and I'm going to paste it right at the top of the prompt. Let's keep it in an order. So I'm going to paste that type settings over there, and of course we're going to get that error, and we need to import these packages from at Google Gen AI. So now that issue will be rectified, and I need to define what particular model that we are going to use. Copy this model, and right after the prompt, or you can define it straight away over here, model which is equals to that. Right now we have the prompt, and inside that what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the prompt, and inside that I'm going to bring the model, which is equals to that. Right now we have the prompt, and inside that what I'm going to do is I'm going to define it straight away over here, model which is equals to that. Right now we have the prompt, and inside that what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the model, which is equals to that. Right now we have the prompt, and inside that I'm gonna keep this particular one over here. That would be fine. And inside here we can just use that main logic over here. So const result, which is equals to await AI dot models dot generate content, structure the object in it, which you need to supply the model instant. Then you need to supply the contents, which is an array. Inside this you need to supply the an object role, which is particularly the user role, and then parts. You need to supply the parts, which is going to be the array. Open it, and I need to supply the text, which is our prompt, right? So I'm just copying and pasting the same code over here. Then right after this array, I need to supply our own config, which we have over there, right? Then we will collect the text results. We will have ourselves our text results. So const text, which is equals to results dot text. I need to trim the unwanted space. Um, okay, we'll fix that type issue later. So then right over there, I need to replace it. Dot replace it. This is the currently what I'm going to do is I'm not going to add any specific expressions. I'm just going to add this regular expressions, this specific regular expressions, because every time when you're generating, it is going to give you that three backticks over there, and then this particular JSON text before that. If you are getting that, then right, that is what we need to ignore. This is the what that I need to remove for the type error. So what we have to do is instead of this kind of approach, this is an object and we can use this. Wait a minute. I'm just going to chop this out. Cut text dot trim. Okay. So now this should fix that particular issue. Text is not a function because on the previous version, text is a function, but here right now it's an object. Right now we have the text, and if in case if you don't have any particular text, we need to handle that also properly. So what I need to do, if I don't have a text, I need to say no content received by the Gemini AI. Then right after that, I need to parse that particular text. We need to parse the particular text. So what I'm going to do is right after here, const parsed is equals to JSON.parse that particular text. Right after that, I need to return the next response, which is the parsed text itself. Right? So save these changes. I think this is the API. And now what we need to do is we need to write a function in order to use this function. So where I have to use it, I have to use this function over here. So for this button, I'm gonna say on click generate description, which we don't have that function yet. So I'm just going to say const generate description, which is an asynchronous function. Okay, so this content is basically auto generated. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hide this, and I'm just going to simply say console.log generated content. Instead of this, I just need to update the path slash API slash AI slash generate. Then I don't need to supply any of these things, right? So but inside the body over here, what are the informations that we are expecting? We are expecting the title and the level. what is that? Yes, title and the level. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract the title, which is going to be the string. Then I'm going to extract the level, that is also going to be a string. So let us get back over here. I'm going to simply set the title, which is going to be topic dot title, and here level, which is going to be level, topic dot level. Save these changes. Let's get back over here. Let's access the title and let's access the level. Now we have those two informations. Then right after here, I need to supply title and the description, or description. These are the things that I need to pass it on the front end. Okay, so let's check this out. Everything is working perfectly fine or not. So let me reload this page and let me get into the inspect elements and click on the network sections, close this, which is refreshing now. If everything is working perfectly as it's supposed to be, now, okay, it's better. What we can do is I have to display that content right after this. Here, I'm gonna create myself a div. This needs to be only displayed only if I have the title, and as well as, of course, we do have the title, so we don't have to worry about it. Div here, div class name with the full. Then I'm just going to say card content. Inside the card content, I'm going to display the prompt which we had over here. So I'm going to copy this one because I need to I need to show what exactly that the user is generating. So let us bring it up over here. Save it. So that should display that one. So for this card content, I'm just going to say class name text muted foreground. This is the prompt that the user, so generate a topic description for the topic title. So for that, we can simply say prompt. This is the prompt that we are trying to generate. Prompt generate a topic, right? So now we can see that this is the topic which we have, and the level, which is the basic level, right? So everything is perfectly fine. And now let's check it out. Generate, this is working fine or not, which is running through an API, right? So when I click this generate, it's triggering the generate over here, and we are getting the error, failed to generate the description. Why is that? Because error, we are getting an error. um it's just too many requests. Preview does not have a free quota tier. For more informations, oh, okay, using the pro, so we have to change this into um okay, so we have to choose the proper tiering over here. Choose the proper model. Change the proper model. Yep. And let me stop this and let me rerun it, and let me refresh it. The Gen AI, they changed a lot of stuff for integrating. It's not even the same when I was creating this project. It's completely different. So this is description. It's loading that prompt. Why is that? be um, this needs to be displayed only on this editing. Now if I get inside over here, close this, the network is completely clean, console is also clean. Now if I click generate, it's generating, it's taking some time. Yep, now it's successfully generated, and if you check the console, you can see we have the complete JSON object which we expected it, right? And you can see that. So we have the summary and we have the learning object. If you check it out, this one, and see, this is the data which we have: summary, the topic descriptions, and the learning objectives and prerequisites, and the sample code. It's given the complete sample code. All we have to do is to display this particular data into our this particular editor box. So that is what we want to do now. All right, so now the real problem over here is we are getting as a JSON object, right? So we need to render it. If you directly pass it into that editor, it will simply render it as an object. What you're seeing exactly will be printed over here. But what we have to do, we have to convert, we have to structure it, then we need to send it. So in order to do that, all I have to do is I'm going to okay, adjust this. I'm going to delete this, and right after here I'm going to have myself a function, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have a function called const JSON to HTML. It's a function. Okay, so this function, basically this JSON to HTML function, it's going to receive a JSON data which is type of any, and inside here I'm going to get these specific objects from that JSON data itself, which is nothing but your summary, learning objective, prerequisites, and sample codes. These are the things. Then I'm going to return the HTML codes over here. I'm going to return this string in a specific format, all the h2 tags and the paragraph tags and the learning objectives as the tags, as a HTML tags. So what I'm going to do is just like this. This is the one I'm going to send. This is the exact same data which I'm going to send it inside. Okay, so now this function helps us to do that. Now what I need to do is I need to set this data. Instead of setting this response data, what I'm going to do, I'm going to say const HTML response is equals to JSON to HTML response data. We are going to get that HTML response. Then let's apply that HTML response over here. This will update the description field which is inside this form field. Then it will update this editor value directly over here, right? So let's check this out. If I click generate, and there we go. See, we have ourselves the summary, and we have ourselves the learning objectives, and we have the prerequisites, sample codes, and everything. Now the user wants to, if he wants to make any adjustments over here, he can simply edit these codes and everything, and he can make that desired look and feel. He can make that customizations how exactly he wanted to look at, right? So all these options, if he wants to make it bold, he can choose these options from here, and he can make the necessary editing options over here, right? So these are the things. Now we generated it. Now when I click this save options, when I click the save option, this needs to be sent. This needs to send. So we need to save these informations now into our database, right? So for that, what we can do is in the schema, I structured it to keep it, because initially we are not in the idea of using the rich text editor, but right now we are using it. Instead of this JSON, I'm going to change this into string itself. So I'm going to stop it. So I just need to say pnpm prisma db push. So we have to push this changes. Oops, wait a minute, I haven't saved it. So save these changes. I changed it into a string. Now I need to push this into the prisma db. So that we are just changing the data type because we converted it into a string and we structured it. I need to collect it exactly as it is and I need to put it into the database, right? So we are getting an error. My database is running only. Clear pnpm prisma db push. Is anything is changed over here? Yep, now it's done. Then I'm just going to say pnpm prisma generate. We need to generate on the client side as well as clear it. And let me reload the reload. Oops. Reload the window. All right, so now it has been reloaded. And let me get into the description form. Okay, so now on the on submit function, description form data schema type, what is the schema type? We are setting it as a string only, so that should be fine. And this data will be setting the value. All right, so let's check this out now. Npm run dev. So if everything is working fine as I expected, now let me refresh it. So this should load that. All right, so now if I click the preview option and if I click the generate, so that is going to generate the content and it is going to display it over here, which is exactly the same thing which we wanted. And we can make some necessary customizations, adjusting some space over here. All right, so now I have some that desired space. And if I click the inspect elements and network, let me close everything. Now if I click the save option, it is going to collect this data and send it to, yeah, this is the data. Yep, here we go. See, now we having ourselves the informations over here. uh okay, so why we are okay, let me check the what exact data that we sent. Network. Oh, it's cleared now. Check the key topic. Let me refresh it because we are getting that. um it is already as a string only. So the place where we are displaying it, I think we don't have to rechange it into a string again. Now that will fix that issue. You can see now we have seen the summary learning objectives exactly as it is. So every time when the user wants to change this content, he can get over here and he can customize it, or he can add it by himself, or he can simply generate himself, right? So there are some limitations for generating the contents. Of course, we are not using the pro one, we are using the free versions, but the main objective for creating the AI options to generate the content, which is smoothly done right over here. Let's move on to the next one.